When peak harvest season hits, bulk tomatoes cost pennies on the dollar. But wait just a few months, and those exact same tomatoes will inevitably cost a small fortune. You can completely bypass those off-season price spikes by taking a single bulk harvest and processing it into two highly versatile, shelf-stable ingredients. The first is a rich cooking puree that stays fresh in the fridge for 6 months. The second is a tangy seasoning powder that will sit safely in your pantry for years. To execute this, you need a specific set of tools: a blender, a coarse sieve, a strictly non-stick or aluminum pan, white vinegar, and coarse salt. This process completely bypasses the need for artificial chemical preservatives. By using smart mechanical separation and natural acidity, we can force the produce to stay safe entirely on its own. Step 1 is cleaning the batch. Wash the tomatoes thoroughly, twist off the green stems, and slice each one straight down the middle. Now we separate the components. Take a spoon and scrape out all the wet seeds and soft inner pulp from each half. You want to leave behind a clean, firm outer shell. We separate them because a whole tomato holds far too much water. If you tried to sun-dry them with the pulp still inside, the fruit would rot long before it ever dehydrated. You are now left with two distinct batches of raw material: a bowl of wet liquid pulp and a wide tray of firm tomato halves. Isolating the high moisture interior from the structural flesh is the foundational step. It is the only way we can run a liquid reduction and a dry powder process from the exact same batch. We will start with the wet pulp. Pour it all into your blender, add a spoonful of Kashmiri red chili powder to establish a vibrant, appetizing color, and blend it smooth. Next, press that blended liquid through a coarse sieve. This filters out the leftover seeds, which you need to throw away because they will make the final puree bitter. Now, pour the strained liquid into a pan for boiling. The hardware you choose here is critical. You must use aluminum or nonstick. Never use a cast iron skillet. Tomatoes have high acidity. If you boil them in cast iron, the acid reacts with the iron, oxidizes the puree, and turns the entire batch an unappetizing black. Bring the strained red liquid to a boil over high heat. As the water evaporates, the thick paste will start to sputter and splatter violently, so keep a lid over the pan to protect yourself from burns. Keep checking under the lid. You are finished when the total volume of liquid has reduced by half, and the puree is thick enough to easily coat the back of your stirring spoon. Turn the stove completely off. While the mixture is still hot, stir in 4 to 5 tablespoons of white vinegar. By boiling off excess water and adding a sharp spike of acetic acid from the vinegar, we create an environment where bacteria simply cannot survive. That guarantees your puree will stay safe in the fridge for half a year. Now let's process the hollowed out shells. Lay them flat on a tray, skin side down, so the wet interior faces up. Leave them exposed to direct sunlight for 2 to 3 days. You will know the dehydration phase is successful when they lose all their flexibility. The flesh should be shriveled and snap apart exactly like a piece of tough leather. Take those entirely brittle shells and drop into your blender. Make absolutely sure the inside of the pitcher is completely dry before you begin. Before turning it on, drop a pinch of coarse salt right on top of the dried shells. The salt acts as a micro-abrasive. As the blades spin, those hard salt crystals repeatedly strike the tomato pieces, which forces the tough, leathery skins to break down into an ultra-fine dust. Pass the resulting ground mixture through a strainer to isolate the finest powder. If you have larger chunks left over in the strainer, microwave them for just a few seconds to eradicate any hidden residual moisture, and then run them through the blender one more time. Achieving absolute 0% moisture tolerance is the only way to prevent clumping. A completely dry powder guarantees a pantry shelf life of up to 3 years. Let's put these to work. When you're building a complex curry base like a matar paneer, this puree drastically speeds up the process. Instead of standing over the stove waiting for raw, diced tomatoes to soften, release their water, and break down, you simply drop in 2 spoonfuls of your concentrated puree. It integrates instantly. The powder serves a distinct purpose. It works perfectly as a dry, potent seasoning for freshly fried snacks right out of the oil. Because of the salt we added during grinding, it instantly delivers that sharp, highly desirable, tangy tomato flavor profile that you usually only find in premium commercial snack brands. Store your jar of puree in the refrigerator and keep the airtight container of powder in a dark pantry. One weekend of strategic processing locks in peak season prices and gives you months of drastically faster daily cooking.